Hi guys, I hope you all are doing well. I'm your host Safa and you are listening to Crime Pod. Last time we covered the Tandoor Khan murder case. If you haven't stumbled upon that video, I have already given the link in the description box of this video. Do check it out. Let's dive into today's case. Today's case is about warped family relations and disowned children. It is a story where ambitions of becoming well known, gaining wealth, and power took a criminal turn. A story full of shocking revelations. The story of Sheena Bora and Indrani Mukerjea. Let's start our story with Indrani Mukerjea, whose birth name was Bora. She was born on Wednesday 22nd November of 1972 to Durga Rani Bora and her first husband in Guwahati, Assam, India, and is their only child. Her father walked out on family and her mother remarried to a man named Upendra Kumar Bora. If we talk about what her stepfather did for a living, then no one is sure what Upendra Kumar's trade was, as there is nothing anywhere about it, but there was something that I was able to dredge up, and it's from his brother Manik, who says that he was a contractor. In an interview to India Today, Manik said he rented out some of his properties. This excerpt adds up to some reports on the web which say that Boras ran a guest house in Guwahati named Chanakya Inn. Whatever the case may be, Boras led a comfortable middle-class life and they sent Indrani to St. Mary's English High School, Guwahati, one of the most prestigious girls' schools in the state. After leaving that school in 1983, she went to Cotton Collegiate Government Higher Secondary School, Guwahati. If we talk about her academic life, she was a bright student, scoring 80% in her board exams. One of her neighbors had reportedly suggested that when Indrani was in her 9th grade, she had eloped with a man from Nepal and got rusticated from her school. But according to the school data, that's just hearsay. It was in Cotton Collegiate that Indrani met Bishnu Chaudhary, a law student and son of a well-known Guwahati-based doctor B.L. Chaudhary. According to their schoolmates, Indrani and Bishnu were married to each other. But when asked, Bishnu vehemently nixed these rumors and said that though they were in a relationship, they never got married. Midway through her intermediate studies, Indrani moved to Ladies King College, Shillong, India, where she completed her intermediate in 1985. While in Shillong, she used to frequent a restaurant named Chirag, where she met Siddhartha Das, a dashing man working in a private firm. In 1986, Indrani told her family that she was married to Siddhartha Das and even brought him to Sundarpur to live with her parents. On 11th of February 1987, Indrani Bora gave birth to her first child, Sheena Bora. Indrani's stepfather tried his best to help Siddhartha Das settle down in the new town and helped him opening a new restaurant in Ganeshgori. But the venture never really took off and phased out quickly. In 1988, Indrani Bora gave birth to her second child, Mikhail Bora. Soon after Mikhail's birth, tension arose in their relationship as Siddhartha was jobless at the time and Indrani didn't want a husband like that. So in 1989, the couple parted their ways. In June of 1990, Indrani, after taking divorce from Siddhartha, moved to Calcutta to complete her education. As Indrani moved to Calcutta, the two children were left with their grandparents, who were raising them as their own. Cause just like all other parents, Indrani parents wanted their daughter to move on, as she had her whole life ahead of her. In 1992, when Sheena had to be admitted to school, the grandparents decided to become Sheena and Mikhail's legal guardians. And in 1993, Indrani submitted an affidavit in Kamrup Judicial Magistrate Court and handed over the custody of her children to her parents. In that affidavit, the birth dates of both children were changed. Sheena Bora got enrolled in Disneyland School of Guwahati, now renamed as Sundarshan Public School. She was very good at studies and just like her mother, passed her board exams with 80% and then went on to complete her intermediate in humanities from Faculty Higher Secondary School. On the other hand, Mikhail dropped out from Disneyland School when he was in 9th grade and gave his board exams as a private student. Bora raised the children on their own and taught them with love and affection. They solely depended on the income from the guest house, and in year 2000, when the guest house business went under, they began to struggle financially. At that point in time, Upendra Kumar and his wife Durga Rani and the two children had lost all the contact with Indrani. Now let's talk about Indrani, who had moved to Calcutta. After coming to Calcutta in early 90s, Indrani started studying computer and was living as a paying guest. Indrani wanted to become something in her life, and that's why she was always on a hunt for opportunities. She went knocking on every corporate door to get some business for her small-time HR firm. It didn't take long for Indrani to dawn into a new persona. She got access to the upper echelons of the society and started hanging out with the so-called upper class. There she met Sanjeev Khanna, a Calcutta-based businessman, and they got married in 1993. Then 3 years after that, in 1996, she along with her husband started INX Services Private Limited, a recruitment company. Her office was somewhere near Park Street Post Office and she would walk over to our office regularly, said an HR consultant. The couple had a daughter named Vidhi Khanna in 1997, and in 2001 the couple moved to Mumbai for business purpose. Reportedly, her recruitment company was considering the prospect of working with Reliance Industries. As soon as they shifted to Mumbai, a rift started between Indrani's and Sanjeev's relation, and it wasn't long before Indrani had filed for divorce. It was reported that after moving to Mumbai, Indrani at a party met Baron Peter Mukherjee, the CEO of Star India, and in just 2 days after their meeting, the two started dating each other and Indrani moved in with Peter. And after her divorce, they both got married in their Posh Khanwala Road home. Peter Mukherjee was once married to Shabnam Mukherjee, whom he divorced in 1994. From her, he had 2 sons, Rahul Mukherjee and Robin Mukherjee. Indrani, after marrying Peter, brought her daughter Vidhi to live with her, and she also changed her surname to Mukherjee. When Indrani's parents come in the know of her wedding with Peter, they finally decided to contact her and wrote a letter to her informing her about their financial crisis and asked her to help them raise the 2 children she had forsaken. Indrani, upon hearing all this, decided to help her parents. In 2006, she went to Guwahati to meet her parents and even brought Sheena and Mikhail back to Mumbai with her. But before taking them along, she had made it clear to them that she is their sister, not mother, because Peter need not to be aware of all this. So Sheena and Mikhail, whether willingly or begrudgingly, started referring her as their elder sister. Sheena got enrolled in St. Xavier's College, while Mikhail was sent to Pune for further studies. Vidhi and Sheena got along well and were often seen together in social gatherings. In December of 2006, Peter and Indrani Mukerjea became founders of the INX Group, which consisted of human resources companies, INX Services and INX Executive Search, and media companies INX Media and INX News. Peter, a big name in Indian media industry, is known for transforming Indian television with shows such as Kaun Banega Crorepati and giving classics such as Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi. Had been sidelining the company come 2006, so instead of staying and feeling not being wanted, he quit soon after. His terms of resignation had a 6-month non-compete clause which prevented him from joining his new company, but it ended in June of 2007, and in August, Peter joined INX Media as CSO, Desk Chairman and Chief Strategy Officer. Indrani became the CEO of INX Media. At INX Media, Peter looked after advertisement, finance, distribution and revenues, while Indrani was in charge of content, human resources and marketing. Sheena Bora, who was doing her Bachelor's of Arts from St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, was now seeing a boy named Kaustav Saika. But they broke up in 2008, and Sheena, who was living with Indrani in Mumbai, came closer to Rahul Mukherjee. They began dating each other in spite of their relation. When Indrani came to know about this, she confronted Sheena and sent her to Delhi. Soon Sheena's health started to deteriorate, and she decided to move to Bangalore with her ex, Kaustav, who regularly visited her when she was in Delhi. Indrani didn't leave Sheena alone and would regularly send her medicines she needed. When Rahul Mukherjee found out about Sheena's health, he went to meet her, but her condition wasn't good, which made him suspicious. So he consulted a doctor and came to know that Indrani was in fact sending her sedatives. After this, he brought her to his Dehradun house with the permission of his grandparents. After graduating, Sheena started working as a trainee in Reliance Infrastructure, and after that she began working as an assistant manager at Mumbai Metro 1. Indrani did everything she could to separate Sheena and Rahul, but in spite of all her efforts, in October of 2011, both got engaged with permissions from Rahul's mother and Sheena's grandparents. After their engagement, Rahul and Sheena started to live together in their apartment in Mumbai, And for a time they were happy, but good things don't last forever. And for Rahul and Sheena, something abhorrent was incipient. 24th of April 2012, Indrani invited Sheena for a dinner and even offered to buy her a sari for her wedding. Rahul dropped Sheena at the location where Indrani would pick her up. He saw that Indrani wasn't alone. In the silver Opel Corsa, there were two males with her. One was her driver and the second man he didn't recognize. At the moment, he didn't thought any of it and went home and waited for Sheena, but she never reached home. He kept calling her on her cell phone, but every time it went straight to voicemail. On the same day, he received text messages from her saying that she will be staying at Indrani's house for the night. The next day, Rahul received a shocker. Through text messages, Sheena said that she no longer wanted to be with him and had found someone else and that she is happier with him. None of that makes sense. How can Sheena find someone else in a day and move on from Rahul? After some days, Sheena emailed to resign from her job. Knowing Sheena and seeing that she was cutting all the links from life, Rahul became concerned and decided to go to police and file a missing person report. But the police refused, stating that Sheena is an adult and has the right to do whatever she sees fit. They said that she will be back after some days. After that, he went to Indrani's house in Worli with police, but the servants told them that she was out of India. Later on, Indrani went to Worli police station and told them that Sheena went to US for higher studies and she didn't inform Rahul because she was afraid that he would stalk her. As no one was willing to help Rahul, he had no other choice but to wait. Days turned to weeks and weeks turned to months and months turned to years, but Rahul didn't receive any word from Sheena, nor he had any clues as to where she went. Now that was just the preamble. Now we will finally move towards the main story as the shocking truth to mysterious disappearance of Sheena Bora begins to unravel. Fast forward to the year 2015, 3 years had passed and no one had heard anything from Sheena. It seemed like she had vanished into the thin air. On 23rd of May 2012, this was just a month after Sheena's disappearance. Local police had found a burnt body in Pen Tehsil near a farmhouse in Lonavala. After villagers complained of foul smell, police, under the circumstance, and I am not sure what was the logic behind this, thought as the remains were found in a forest and there were apparently a lot of such incidents like that in the past, they didn't do their due diligence and simply buried the body in that same forest. So in 2015, Police Commissioner Rakesh Maurya received an anonymous call, relaying to him a shocking revelation. The caller told him that Indrani Mukerjea had killed her daughter Sheena Bora 3 years prior. This did pique Rakesh's suspicion, but he couldn't nab them, as they were both very popular business personalities. So he handed the case to Dinesh Kadam, who put Indrani and Peter under 4-month surveillance to get any clue about the supposed murder. On 21st of August 2015, a man was detained by the police after he was caught disposing of a firearm. The said man was Shambar Pinturam Rai, who surprisingly had worked for Indrani as her driver. Upon investigating, Rai told police about something baffling that happened 3 years in the past. He said that on 24th of April 2012, Indrani asked him to do her a favor, to which he agreed because she promised to help support his family. Indrani, who had rented an Opel Corsa, asked Shambar Rai to drive her to Raigad, and after he had taken her there, she surveyed the area. On the same day, Sanjeev Khanna, Indrani's ex-husband, flew to Mumbai and checked into the Hotel Hilltop in Worli. Indrani then asked Sheena to meet her after nightfall. Hesitant at first, Sheena agreed. He said that Indrani went to Hotel Hilltop at around 6 p.m. 1 hour later, she along with Sanjeev and Rai went to pick Sheena up near National College on Rinking Road in Bandra near Amarsan's showroom. Sheena was there with Rahul Mukharjea waiting for Indrani. Rai told authorities that Indrani sat next to him while Sanjeev was sitting on the rear seat. When Sheena entered the car, Indrani gave her water laced with drugs and soon after Sheena fell unconscious. He said that after that, Sanjeev held Sheena's head while Indrani tortured her to death. They then placed Sheena's body on the back seat in a position that if someone saw Sheena from the outside, they would not notice that something was untoward. He added that after they murdered Sheena, they took her body to the house in Worli, where it was stuffed into a bag. which was then put in the trunk of the rented Opel Corsa. 5 days after the arrest of Shamvar Rai, Mikhail Bora told media that Sheena Bora was not the sister, but in fact the daughter of Indrani Mukerjea. Rai went on to allege that Indrani wanted to kill Mikhail also, but her plan was foiled somehow. This was also supported by Mikhail's statement to the police. In order to get rid of Sheena's body, they left for Raigad in the wee hours of April 25th. At around 4 a.m., they reached Raigad forest. They dragged the bag out from the car's trunk, doused it with petrol, and set it ablaze. As the body was burning, they left the place. Indrani gave him 5,000 rupees to get rid of all the evidence and told him that she had a parcel in the car which he can take with him, but it was not to be opened. Indrani also used a separate pair of shoes while disposing the body, as the dirt from the ground could have led police to them. Sanjeev left Mumbai and took those shoes with him in order to hide them in his Kolkata house. It took Rai 3 years to finally open that parcel, but upon opening it, he found out that it was a gun. It was the beginning of their undoing, as he got arrested while trying to dispose of that gun. Upon listening to Shamvar Rai's story, authorities immediately recalled that they had in fact found a body in Pen Tehsil 3 years ago, which was just a month after Sheena's disappearance. The remains were exhumed from their burial site in Raigad forest and were sent for further examination. As the remains were severely burnt, so it was difficult for them to definitively identify her, but the DNA evidence came handy and the remains proved to be none other than those of Sheena Bora's. When police were confident that they had enough evidence and witnesses in Sheena Bora's murder investigation, they nabbed Indrani Mukerjea on 25th and Sanjeev Khanna from Calcutta on 26th of August 2015. After this, the case was handed over to CBI. Indrani was charged under Section 302 murder, 201 disposing evidence or giving false statements, 363 kidnapping and 34 common intention of the Indian Penal Code, and taken to the Bandra Metropolitan Magistrate Court, which remanded her in police custody. On the other hand, Sanjeev Khanna, Indrani's ex-husband and co-conspirator, was charged under Section 364 kidnapping, 302 murder, 201 causing disappearance of evidence, and 120B conspiracy under the Indian Penal Code in the same case. 3 months later, on November 19th, Peter Mukherjee was also arrested on charges pertaining to Sheena Bora's murder case and transferring company funds into a bank account on Sheena Bora's name in Singapore. Until their arrest in 2015, Indrani and Peter Mukherjee lived and traveled to different parts of the world such as UK, Spain and other countries of Europe. After Peter got arrested, Sanjeev confessed of killing Sheena and even handed police those shoes he once hid in his Calcutta house. But Peter and Indrani fervently kept on denying any part in crime and were adamant that Sheena is alive and studying in US. CBI pulled all the stops in this case and investigated every clue they could get and presented a plethora of evidence on the trial which commenced in 2017. More than 100 witnesses appeared before the court and the CCTV footage of Hilltop Hotel was also presented. The phone location of accused were same on the night of murder. Court was told that it was Indrani's personal secretary Kajal who sent Sheena's resignation letter to her office and forged her signatures. Moreover, it was Kajal who sent Rahul those fake messages in which she pretended to be Sheena. Reportedly, she had done this on Indrani's behest. According to CBI, the motive behind Sheena's murder was that Indrani didn't want Sheena to marry Rahul. Because if Rahul married Sheena, then Peter Mukherjee's wealth would go to Rahul and Sheena, and Vidhi would get nothing. Moreover, Indrani and Peter transferred 900 crore to their bank accounts, and to avoid eyes, they transferred them on different names which included Sheena Bora, but she refused to give back that amount to Indrani and asked for a 3 BHK apartment in exchange for that money. Indrani kept on denying that Sheena was in fact her daughter and not her sister. She even told court that Mikhail was mentally ill, so they shouldn't rely on his statement. At one point, she told that she was sexually abused by her stepfather, who is also her uncle, and Sheena was born when she was 17 years old. Indrani Mukerjea spent 6.5 years in Paikula Women Jail in Mumbai for murdering her daughter. Peter Mukherjea was released on bail in March of 2020. The couple split in October of 2019. Indrani's bail request got rejected on multiple occasions, but she was finally released in May of 2022. The accused turned prosecution witnesses Shamwar Rai and Sanjeev Khanna also got bail after 2 months of Indrani's release. Upon her release, Indrani said that she was very happy and had learned a lot in prison. She told the Indian Express that she is grateful of her lawyers and is overwhelmed by her freedom. This has restored my faith in judiciary, and I know that at the end of the day, it is a fair system. I will now talk about the case, added Indrani. After her release, she went to live in her apartment in Marlow Society. During her time in jail, she wrote a book named Unbroken, The Untold Story, which got published in 2023. In 2016, Agnidev Chatterjee directed the movie Dark Chocolate inspired by Sheena Bora murder case. Netflix released a documentary, The Indrani Mukerjea Story, Buried Truth, on February 29, 2024. After it was released, CBI went to Bombay High Court seeking an injunction on it, but the Bombay High Court rejected their appeal. That's the story of Sheena Bora murder case so far, and I know you guys have a lot of questions after hearing it. Why only Indrani and Peter were dragged into all this? Why Rahul was left alone? As mostly in cases like this, the partner is the first and foremost suspect, and that's true in this case too. Rahul was also brought in for questioning, and even during the trial. Indrani kept on blaming Rahul and said that he and Sheena were in a live-in relationship, and he is the one who should be on the top of suspect list because Sheena's passport was found from Rahul's apartment, and he was the one who first noticed her missing. If I am being earnest, I am unable to grasp her rationale for that. Media went to Siddhartha Das and had an interview with him, throughout which his face was covered. He told them that he never married Indrani, but they had 2 children together, and Indrani's parents knew all about this. Siddhartha Das' wife, Babli, knew nothing about her husband's connection with Indrani. The motive behind the murder, according to police, was Indrani's lust of power and wealth. Though Sheena was also her daughter, she allegedly despised her, and her bond with her second daughter Vidhi was much more stronger. That is why, even after her divorce from Khanna, Indrani took Vidhi with her and asked Peter to adopt her so that she can get her share in the property and have a secure future. But Sheena came and was ruining all this, and to stop her from doing so, she resorted into killing her own daughter, whom she never really accepted as her own. And even after being suspected of murder, spending almost 7 years behind bars and ruining her conjugal life with Peter, still denies Sheena as her daughter. She still says that Sheena is alive and is in hiding. In the book which I mentioned before, she claims to have seen Sheena at an airport. But this brings out another question, that if we believe Indrani on this, why didn't Sheena Bora came forward and saved her family from both their trial in court and media? Why didn't she came back to Rahul, whom she was dating and had planned to marry despite her mother? According to Sheena's friend, Sheena never knew what kind of person her real mother was and hadn't had any kind of contact with her. In her diary, which was recovered from Sanjeev Khanna's Calcutta home, Sheena has mentioned her troubled teenage years and her relationship with her mother. In an entry from February of 2003, Sheena had this to say, "Oh, happy birthday to me, but I am not happy. It seems as if I have got nothing in my life, nothing. My future seems very pale to me. Just depression has encircled me from all sides. Disgusting life it is. I hate my mother, that bloody bitch. She is not a mother, she is a witch. She must have been." In another entry, also from the same month, she wrote, "A keep of so many persons over all these years, God only knows. And now that she got married with that old man, her this act to Aita and Kaka seems very prestigious, very wise, but not in the case of me. I hate her. I wish her soul gets condemned, not even in hell. I have much grief, much tears to flow, but when, where, and in front of whom?" She also mentioned in her diary that she wanted to meet her father Siddhartha Das and wanted to write letters to him, but she didn't really knew anything about him. Another question is that how Sanjeev Khanna and Peter Mukharjea didn't know at first place that Indrani had children from a previous relationship, and why would they believe that Mikhail and Sheena were her siblings despite of the age gap. Published in 2023, Vidhi Mukherjee's book titled Devil's Daughter shows her perspective on Sheena's Bora murder case. That's it for today's video. I hope you liked the case study with me. If you do, like this video. Leave a comment behind if you have any suggestion for our future uploads. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed and ring the notification bell so you're never gonna miss any of the future uploads. This is Safa signing off with Crime Pod.